Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Friday, December 20th. We've got another dry day, but rain and snow return starting tomorrow afternoon. Now, we don't have a lot out there this morning, but as we go through the rest of the morning, there is the potential for a little bit of freezing fog and low cloudiness to return, and we could see a few flurries out of that. Otherwise, it is dry until we get to tomorrow. Light amounts of precipitation across the area. The higher amounts will be for the sawtooth, the spine of the sawtooth, and the Tetons. And basically, it continues with more rounds of rain and snow, and that takes us through at least Christmas Day here in central and eastern Idaho. Satellite shows higher clouds across the area, but we're already starting to see this little first push coming to an end, but you see more high and mid-level clouds to the south and to the west. And actually that, at least in terms of fog, when we get in these conditions, even if we don't have a lot of wind, even if we have a little bit of high and mid-level cloud cover, it doesn't allow for the clear skies. You really want those real light winds and very clear skies to get the fog to develop. That's why we're not thinking it's going to be a widespread issue. It may end up not being anything at all, and certainly we're not expecting anything like we saw in the upper part of the plain yesterday morning or on Thursday morning with some of that dense fog up that direction. We've expanded the weather risk outlook to take you through Christmas Day, and today not much going on, but you see rain and snow returning, and gradually the impacts there each round. The impacts aren't terrible, but they'll start accumulating over time over the next few days, definitely giving us some more snowpack up the mountains. Precipitation in terms of snow impacting the Snake Plain right now is fairly low on any given day with one of these rounds moving through, but certainly something to watch over the next several days, especially if you're going to be traveling across the area, especially as we get into Monday and beyond for that time period. Looking at temperatures today, where we're going to stay a little more under the inversion, even if we don't have the fog and low clouds. Low 30s might even be a little cold over around Fairfield there in that particular part of central Idaho. Otherwise, once you get outside of the inverted areas or where we don't mix out a lot, well into the 40s, you get down towards Jackpot, Oakley, City of Rocks. We're talking low to mid 50s for highs today. And for tonight, temperatures not too bad, still staying below freezing. Some of those bench areas will be at or just above freezing, also down in towards the Bear River Range, and certainly you get down towards Oakley, temperatures in the mid-30s for tonight. Going into Saturday, even with that system coming through, sometimes we get these systems coming through and it kind of mixes things out a little bit, especially where we have some inversions going. Not necessarily the case. It'll be a little bit warmer where we are going to be slow to mix out versus today. The rest of the area is down a couple of degrees for tomorrow afternoon highs, but still plenty of areas well above freezing going into tomorrow. Looking at what arrives late afternoon, this is coming into the Central Mountains first. You don't see a lot of snow around Galena Summit and back up towards Stanley and back towards Banner Summit as well. Generally very light amounts. That's for just tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow evening, you start to see the snow picking up over the Central Mountains. It doesn't get into the eastern highlands farther east until late evening tomorrow into late Saturday night and Sunday morning. And amounts still light, might see an inch or so around Stanley, the higher amounts across the spine of the Sawtooth with this particular event. And looking at storm totals there, just a couple inches along that spine of the Sawtooth, and just a small chance we might see anything above 2 inches in that area with this first round coming through anyway. Going into Saturday night, early Sunday morning, you can see things finally pushing into the eastern highlands, farther into southwest Montana. Generally light amounts, maybe an inch over on the south end of the Tetons to the north of Jackson Hole. Otherwise, again, light amounts. That's for tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Sunday morning after sunrise, again, very light snow will continue with this round across the area. Amounts generally for an inch. In some areas, it may be just some flurries or nothing more than a dusting. Looking at taking that snow and melting it, or we might see some rain in some of the middle valley areas with warmer temperatures for tomorrow afternoon. Generally under a tenth of an inch. Higher amounts in the central mountains, also up towards Lost Trail Pass. The highest amounts again across the spine of the Sawtooth, where we will see maybe the potential of just over a quarter of an inch. There's about a 30 to 40% chance in some areas of maybe getting above a third of an inch in that part of the world with this first round. For Sunday, temperatures generally a little bit cooler across the board overall with that wave coming through. And then even though it clears out for early in the morning, we'll see that second round quickly coming in. And that doesn't allow us to warm up across the area too much going into Sunday afternoon. Going with this event, this goes Sunday afternoon through Monday evening. You can see light amounts of snow, generally looking at under 4 inches. The higher amounts, 4 inches, maybe 5 to 6 inches over the Sawtooth into the Boise side of the Central Mountains. Also, some pockets across the South Hills into the Bear River Range of above 4 inches. And certainly the big holes into the Tetons, it looks like a pretty good shot of 6 inches or more of snow. But you notice the lower elevation's not seeing a lot of snow either. And even where we might get a little snow Monday morning over the upper plain, it's not going to amount to much as well. Looking at that liquid, trying to get into that snowpack, most of it is staying under a tenth of an inch, a tenth to a quarter across the Central Mountains, the South Hills, the Southeast and Eastern Highlands, and we really don't see anything above a half an inch until we get into the big holes and the Tetons as well. That's again with that second round coming through. Skipping ahead to Christmas Eve, temperatures in many areas in the teens and 20s where we can get a little bit of wind and downslope. It'll be in the mid-20s to just above freezing. That includes Pocatello, Burley, Twin Falls, back into the Treasure Valley. You'll see temperatures not too warm across the area where we can get some warmer temperatures going. It'll only be in the mid-30s to mid-40s for afternoon highs on Christmas Eve. Going to Christmas morning, not much of a temperature change there, but you'll notice with this round coming through, it's going to be much colder. Most of us staying below 40 degrees, maybe low 40s, Oakley, Burley, portions of the Magic and Treasure Valleys. That's for Christmas Day, those particular high temperatures. And again, another round of rain and snow coming through at that point. So once again, until we get to tomorrow afternoon, it's really not a sure deal, and if we see it, it'll be pretty sporadic, but some freezing fog and stratus is possible again this morning and again tomorrow morning, especially over the Snake Plain up towards the Montana Divide. And this is a pattern. You get a little bit of activity going. You might see a little bit of light snow falling out of that stratus sector. Don't be surprised. Nothing measurable. That first round coming through tomorrow and goes into Sunday morning. Most of us under an inch, and the Sawtooth and the Tetons seeing a little bit more. And looking ahead, rain and snow coming our way, and that continues off and on all the way through at least Christmas Day. Have a great Friday out there and stay safe, everyone.